Oh, hey man, how you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Yeah, nice to see you. I'm see you in person and not popping out of my YouTube screen.
I know.
So, Elektron are here, and we're looking at some new stuff, right?
Yeah,
some
so
new
we're here.
updates.
We're here at Buchla And Friends, and we got the limited edition e25s here with us, the Digitakt, the Digitone, as well as the Syntakt. You can see how crazy reflective they are in that stainless steel finish.
Fingerprint magnet.
Right, exactly. They're actually surprisingly pretty good because they are brushed, so it doesn't show up as much as you can see there, which is actually pretty cool.
It's kind of nice.
Of course, Octatrack is eternal. It'll be here forever. And we're also showing off the Analog Heat Plus effects right here, which is our new analog and digital effects processing unit with its different wave shapes. We'll get to that in a second. And lastly, the Analog Rytm MKII with its new added machines. So for example, here on the screen, we've now categorized our machines, added a few chromatic style playing synth engines that are here, side chip, side raw, dual VCO, BD acoustic, we have SD acoustic. But not only that, we also have our Euclidean mode with two separate pulse generators that can be rotated with different type of Boolean operations to get a lot of really cool rhythmic elements out of it. But I think one that's really special to focus on would be our Analog Heat Plus effect. So I say we just go ahead and plug in, give it a little quick rundown.
Yeah, let's do that. Beforehand, are the special editions, are they different price, same price, or just limited
They
edition?
are a little more expensive because of the brushing and the stainless steel that went into making them. They also come with the different color keycaps, different packaging, and like little merch and stuff as well. And here's another weird thing that you might not know. In the boxes, we've only made 1998 of them because that's when Elektron was founded in 1998. But in one Syntakt, one Digitone, and one Digitakt box, there'll be a silver function button. And if you get that, there's a very special prize in there. I'm not sure if we've actually announced what
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
the
vibes.
Silver function button. You got to go find it.
Great
yeah,
idea.
it's in one of those boxes.
So just buy them all, right?
Basically. Better your chances. Yeah.
All right, let's plug in.
Cool, let's do it.
So tell me what's going on with this signal path. So what's that? That's the...
This is the Syntakt here. Easiest way to understand, Syntakt master out is going into the Analog Heat Plus effects, and it's being affected, and that's coming straight into you where you're hearing it now live. So we have a little pattern here. I'll deactivate the Analog Heat. That's the Syntakt pattern there. The Analog Heat's really special because I can activate it and go into our heat section here, turn up our mix, and change how intense our heat is and the analog distortion circuits. So similar to the Analog Heat MKII, this bottom half is all analog, but in our flow, we have different things like a compressor, which we can then, of course, add our makeup gain, change our dry wet mix to the compressed signal, turn up our ratio here, and choose what sounds are getting filtered out with the sidechain or with the compressor itself.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it gives it a really nice movement. You can even adjust this here, maybe a little faster attack. And what's really fun about this is when we look at our flow page, I can actually say, you know what, let's have the reverb come after the compressor. And I'll activate that now. So now it goes analog distortion into our compressor, into our reverb. And you can change the signal path however which way you want. So now, with that activated, crazy long delay or decay. You also have pre-delay. And same thing. You know what? Maybe I want it before the compressor to really bring up all the depth.
Oh, that's pumping.
Yes. It's so fun to play with the effects. It kind of becomes this weird instrument where the effects become so playable and you're like really molding the shape and kind of playing with the tempo and seeing how you can get it to move and groove with the pattern or whatever it is that you might have.
You see a lot of people, live performers, who stick that on the end and just before it gets
Yeah,
to the PA. They put
it's
that.
funny.
So they've got their own kind of mastering section, right? Before
Totally. Like if we go into this little preset section here, I think it's where is it at? I think I might have saved it in D, the Ricky T main bus. So that's my like final, like let me limit it, add a little bit of reverb to open it up a bit, and then just kind of adjust with a little bit of the tape warble to give it a little bit of movement and saturation. One thing that's really crazy on the Heat is this mod page. You have an envelope follower, and you also have 3 LFOs that can be sent to any of the parameters
So
on
it's
the
starting
device.
to get into sound design land, really, isn't
Exactly.
it?
And what's wild about this is the way this works is you have a trigger threshold, right? So let's play some sound going into here. I'll mute a bunch of the tracks. We'll just play, let's see, we'll go and, okay, that's cool. Turn up our sensitivity on this, and you can see when it gets triggered. That can actually act as a trigger towards any of the 3 LFOs to reset their sync rate and reset their starting phase point. So if you do some weird kind of movement to your, to like the LFOs going to the filter cutoff, you can just like every time a sound passes that threshold amount, it'll then reset the LFO, and then the random LFO will be moving the filter cutoff or the reverb decay time.
Can you trigger it from like MIDI or something like that? That would,
Actually, that's a really good
because
question.
then you could have a totally separate cycle
sequence
to the tempo,
just
yeah.
playing that, right? I actually haven't tried that. I'm not sure.
That would be cool.
I think right now it's literally just listening to the incoming signal.
Right, okay.
And I'll just jump to like a blank pattern so we can really test this out. So here, I'll just open up this little kick. Close this down a little bit, right?
Oh, that's nice bounce on the. Is
Already?
Is that coming from the?
Yeah,
Heat?
exactly. So it's already just driving it up, right? So watch, I'll lower this down. And one thing that's cool is like if we turn on our filter, I'll throw in another little sound in here. Let's say, oh, right, I have this set all the way down. No wonder I can't hear anything. Cool, we'll do, watch, without this.
Yeah, that's.
Boom, finished track, on to the next one. So, with all this movement going on here, I can now say, all right, this envelope follower that's jumping around going all wild, let's go to our filter cutoff. So filter frequency, depth. Only on those hits where it passes, it will apply that attack and release.
It's almost like conditional tricks, isn't it? In a weird way. Yeah,
it's crazy. And then same thing, we'll turn it up a little more. Attack, we'll slow it up.
I mean, you know, just move the filter real slow. That's going to get you through 3-4 minutes in a live
Totally.
set, right?
And what's hilarious is I do that all the time because I love the subtle movement of sound. So having like the filter kind of moving and drifting with the reverb, but then the reverb itself is getting compressed and pushed up and moved around. It just sounds different forever. And this is just a kick drum and a hi-hat. And it's like, I can just listen to this.
Because it almost sounds like you've automated those parameters on the Syntakt, you know.
Totally. And again, you turn it off. It's like, oh, right, it's just a default
It's
pattern.
just that.
Yeah, that's it. And this isn't even getting into the wild stuff, which, for example, if I find something a little bit more tonal, let's say this little sound here, we'll just put this in randomly here and here. So this is going to get extremely gnarly. Let me go ahead and lower this. Round fuzz. It really starts to bring out all the harmonic tones. Right, take the kick out. That's a cowbell, again. That's the exact, you can't help but laugh because it's like, how dinky is this compared to where it was right before we just turned it on or off?
I think we can say transformative,
yes,
man. Yeah.
Yes, it's very transformative. So again, turn it on. Throw the kick in there and the hi-hat. Again, what is happening? And then instead of the attack decay mode, there's another fun one called follow, which will just follow the incoming signal. And you can actually adjust almost like a slew. You can see it's now bouncing our filter around. Slower release. And then this will again change depending on what sounds are currently active. So we'll take the kick and the hi-hat out. Maybe turn our attack up. And again, all this could be modulatable. Right, we'll go in and say, let's throw in the delay. Ping pong.
Is that as well as the reverb? I can't make it.
Yeah, the delay and the reverb. So if we go into here, I can turn off a reverb. I can also choose the filter cutoff, bass width, typical Elektron style for the delay itself. And I can change the delay from a send to a return style mode or a mix mode. So now we're only listening to the delayed signal. My personal favorite is send, so I can just send it a little bit and not get it too affected. And I can turn our feedback up to almost self-oscillation.
I really want the kick now, Ricky. Can you give me the
Yes.
kick? I'm gagging for it.
That's now the kick in there somewhere. Oh, right, because it's this giant, huge. There it is. And this is a great way to mix between the fully wet signal and the dry signal.
It's like an entire set with one. You could put any old crap in there, basically,
Literally.
and it would sound
Just
pretty amazing.
Slap the sequencer with the record enable on, get any pattern going. Here's your hi-hat again, mix that in. And then if you start mixing into this, which is really fun to do too, for example, instead of this filter cutoff, I'll turn it into a high pass, find the resonant kick section.
Oh yeah.
And it's just insanity. Because you take the kick out, it starts to breathe. It's like the most intense thing. I can't help but just destroy sounds and just get them beyond recognition using this thing. But I do have to remember, like, all right, I could just kind of pump the brakes and just get a little warmth on there and not have to go too crazy. But I think when it comes to using this round fuzz distortion circuit, bringing out all those kind of hidden harmonies is what I kind of think of them as.
Yeah.
Like, they're there. They're clearly there because it's triggering the circuitry to make it feel and sound a certain way. And when you take out other signals and sounds, this new harmonic tone shows up. And then you add the kick and it kind of starts blending back and forth. And then being able to swap and change what routing the preset is set up to is just really powerful. And all these presets can be recallable. Like if you're using Overbridge and you have a specific setup for a song, when you load it up, it's going to load it there. Or if you're playing live, you can send a program change to it, and then it'll then change up whatever specific pattern you have, whatever routing you might have on the back end.
So this this is available now, is it?
Yeah, available now. Analog Heat plus effects. It's the new bumped up version of the Analog Heat Mark II, which you might be familiar with.
Do you have any idea on pricing?
$9.99.
$9.99 US.
$1,000. Yeah, for the Analog Heat plus effects. And I mean, when you try to consider what everything goes into here, with the delay, the chorus, the tape warble, the analog circuitry, the reverb, the compressor, and actually I didn't show you this. This is actually really good for live performers. You have something called bass. What bass will do is you get to choose at what point crossover frequencies, the bass will become mono and everything else on top stays stereo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are mastering effects, aren't they? Because this is where it started. It was the mastering chain. So
exactly.
You got the mastering stuff as well as this kind of
more
effects.
creative, right? So you can use it in the corrective mode as well as the creative mode. So I got like the Ricky T main bus on there to just like, all right, I finished the track. Let me just sweeten it up, bring up the highs, boom up the bass a little bit, shave off everything past 10K to give it that vinyl sound. You can even add just a little bit of white noise like the crackle tape hiss. And then there's also the weird performance ones that I made. I wonder if it's on here actually. Let me see. It's called...
You could just imagine, okay, so somebody who submits their final track and goes, that's amazing. Can you send me an unmastered version? And it'll be like a Casio VL tone rhythm.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh no, I've been found out now. Yeah.
Right. It's one of those where it's like, oh, I need to, this is how it is. There's no mode.
before. There was no before.
Exactly. Oh man, I don't think I have it on here. There's one where I made that you didn't even need a signal input. You could just touch your thumb to the input.
Oh, to the jack and get
to
it
the jack, and the threshold will then trigger 3 LFOs rhythmically to then resonate the frequency to play this cool little chord arpeggiator thing through the reverb, through the delay, and it was just dancing, and all you're doing is just going. Man, I wish I could find it. It's somewhere in here, but maybe I wrote over it or something like that.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Ricky, thanks so much.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to hit that subscribe, like button down below. Catch y'all soon.